Whether you have played a game or not, you're always making assumptions, whether that's the experience that you've had or just what you've seen on the outside. There are very few games that are out there where the longer that you play them, the more those preconceived opinions become something so much further from the truth. Games like Nier Automata, BioShock, Terraria, these games can do it effectively, but not very many games have. Recently, I played Warframe's The Second Dream, and this embodies that very notion of taking all of your experience up to a given point, all of your opinions, all of your assumptions, and shattering them in an instant. Today, I am challenged with trying to tell new and prospective players of Warframe about how impactful this quest is, how impactful this game is, while also not spoiling that journey. It's also a challenge for me to not spoil that journey and also tell veterans how much this game now means to me. So, let's give it a shot. In a lot of cases, I think that many of us are playing games still hunting for that feeling that we got when we first started playing games. When we went into games with no context at all about their worlds. We didn't know the people, we didn't understand the world, and we were open to surprise because we just didn't have any expectations outside of just wanting to play a game and enjoy it. As we grow older, we build up tolerance through years of experience of playing games, but also the marketing that often spoils part of that journey as well. We aren't easily surprised anymore. I still remember to this day how my childhood brain imploded after removing the Master Sword in Zelda Ocarina of Time, walking through a similar yet vastly different world, and realizing that I just got double the amount of game. Moments like these are important because they tap into the core reason of why we play games in the first place. That's to be surprised, to feel a sense of wonder, to experience something that's truly unforgettable. As seasoned players, it's rare for us to encounter anything that genuinely shocks us or shifts our perspective, which makes these kind of instances all that more valuable when we come across them. These twists and revelations reignite the excitement and curiosity that we felt when we first started playing games. They remind us of the power of storytelling and the potential for games to offer profound and emotionally resonant experiences. Whether it's the shock of discovering a hidden truth behind a beloved game or the emotional depth of a well-crafted story, narrative, and twist, these moments leave a lasting impact on us because they break through our jaded exteriors, surprising us in ways that we thought were no longer possible. They transform our understanding of a game, deepening our connection with that story and its characters, and ultimately solidifying our commitment to that game and the medium itself. And we are jaded today. Many players are looking around saying that modern gaming is dead, that there's no more fun to be had. It's all corporate greed and recycled IPs. The value of games has just been diminished year over year, and a game like Warframe in a moment like this, for me as a player, is just proof that sometimes we're looking in the wrong places. So imagine my surprise when I'm playing a free-to-play MMO, space, ninja, magical, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. I don't think many people do know what it is, but imagine I'm playing a free-to-play MMO like Warframe, and I come across a moment that genuinely shocks me, that puts me on my back and makes me think about a lot of the games that I've been playing and where I've been looking to play some of these games. I've been having a blast playing Warframe. I've been documenting my journey playing the game right here on YouTube. This is the third video now in that whole series of videos, and I've been blown away by it. I've enjoyed all of the different weapons, the different Warframes, how flexible they are, the level design, the music, some of the story beats, how the quests are designed, all kinds of different things. But I never expected that the game, just right around the corner, would have a profound experience waiting for anybody that has the patience to get to it. A moment in which it took me from saying, wow, this game is a lot of fun, to, I don't think I'm ever going to stop playing it. Now, as of recording this video, I have sunk 150 hours into Warframe, and I just reached the second dream at about 120 hours. Throughout my live streams and my videos, I was constantly being told, wait for the second dream. And man, that wait was worth it. My fascination with the game has grown substantially since I've just continued to play the game, but I can't tell you guys that I was entirely sold on the game until I finished the second dream. Warframe's new player experience is rough, to say the least. It's a work in progress that Digital Extremes is committed to improving, as they should. If you walk into Warframe with a jaded perspective, that's relatively common for many gamers today, you're going to see all of the red flags that you've grown accustomed to that come with live service games and free-to-play games over the last 10 years. There is a severe lack of direction, coupled with an abundance of systems, information, and content. There's digital currencies, time gating, and power that you can buy for real money. The game takes a long time to provide the player with any sort of challenge, and it feels like they're just trying to fast track you towards the end of the game, leaving you feeling underwhelmed by the combat and overwhelmed by the wealth of information and content that's in the game. It takes a lot of time for Warframe to show its true nature, to shed its skin as just another free-to-play MMO or live service game and show that it's an entirely different beast altogether. Before recording this video, I was told to watch SkillUp's Masterstroke video where he recapped his thoughts on the second Dream just after he played it, and I couldn't agree any more with his points. However, his experience is vastly different than mine as he played the game over 6 years ago at this point. I don't want to spoil the second Dream. It means too much to me and too much to too many people, and it deserves that kind of reverence and respect. It is just that impactful and that important. I wouldn't want to rob that kind of joy from anyone. But I do want to say that it really is that defining quest, that moment that knocks you on the ground, that leaves your mouth agape and makes you want to commit to the game, its narrative, and its future. The only hint that I can give is a similar experience that I had when playing Terraria for the very first time. I went into the game with zero context. I knew nothing of the game. Never watched a video on it, never saw an ad. I just played it on a friend's recommendation. I remember hours into the game, I thought I had it figured out. It was something similar to Minecraft. Explore the map, dig, build, find better materials, rinse, and repeat. Then one evening, red text displayed at the bottom of my screen saying, "You feel an evil presence watching you." Or shortly after, a giant health bar appeared at the very top of the screen, and a giant eyeball came into view. I died immediately, and I just sat there thinking to myself, what is this game? Initially, part of me wanted that kind of experience sooner in the game, something to hook me a little bit earlier. However, after completing the second Dream, there's no way that I would move it from where it is. After that much time in the game, after that much commitment and investment that you've put in, that is the payoff that you deserve as a player, and it's awesome to see that Digital Extremes has that kind of patience and bravery to pull something like that off and put something like that over 100 hours into a game. Most companies wouldn't do that. They'd want to bombard you at the very beginning with as much content and surprises and whatever else they possibly could just to get you hooked for the first 20 to 30 hours. And then what ends up happening, and this is, I guarantee people watching this right now are going to say this, or think this at the very least, is that we get bored with the game then after. The hooks are off. Once they catch us at the very beginning, the game just seems to kind of trail off towards the end. I can't tell you guys how many games that I've played that are 60, 70, 80 hours long, 100 hours long, and I haven't even finished them because, well, they were really good for the first 30 hours, but then after that, it was basically just the same experience through and through. And we live in a time in which everything's all about instant gratification, but this requires patience. Digital Extremes is asking for patience, and for that patience, you get a major reward, a huge payoff as a result. And man, sometimes we have to meet these developers halfway. We have to give these games a chance. And if you do, well, it ends up being worth it. I spoke earlier about a lack of direction in Warframe and how quickly new players can feel overwhelmed. And while I definitely think that a lot of that still needs some work, some of that lack of direction has a direct payoff once you complete the second Dream. I decided to give this game a chance. I pushed through my jaded, preconceived opinions about the game being a live service, free-to-play game, and dedicated time to learning the game's systems as I approached them. And in that, I then realized that there was a hidden benefit to the game's lack of direction in both its systems and its narrative. Instead of having your hand held, you genuinely have to learn the game, discover things on your own, and because of that, you absorb that information much more holistically rather than just being directed to do something, ultimately coming to a better level of understanding as a result of it. I remember back in high school, I used to have this teacher that taught us how to better absorb information in class by using active listening and taking notes. The best way to learn something is to hear it, say it, and then write it down. While I felt lost at the very beginning of my journey through Warframe, I've been consistently using this kind of strategy to better understand the game. I'm visually and audibly taking in information while I'm playing the game. I'm physically practicing it while I'm actually playing the game, and then I talk about it with others and friends to try to better understand how to apply that knowledge. After you've played around 100 hours of Warframe, you've likely already got a relatively strong understanding of how the game is played, what you're supposed to be doing as a player, and what your purpose in the game is. It's then that the second Dream swoops in and shows the player that You've only just arrived at the rabbit hole and you haven't even put your foot in yet. The game opens up mechanically and narratively in a way that you would never expect. It takes you from a free-to-play, action-packed game to a AAA quality, full-priced narrative, teasing that there's more just beyond. It's incredibly brave of Digital Extremes to have so much faith in their game that they put this behind 100 hours of gameplay. However, the payoff is unlike anything that I've experienced in a game up until this point. And I don't think I'm ever going to find anything that gives me something similar to this. You can see the passion and faith in their patience, something that I think is reflected in almost everything that Warframe and their team does. And it's no wonder why this game's community is so dedicated and why their devs are so adored. The second dream is one of the most impactful and memorable moments I've ever had playing a game. I could compare it to the death of Aerith in Final Fantasy VII or Would You Kindly from BioShock, but that wouldn't do it any justice. Those moments of shock and awe change the course of the narrative and subvert your experience. However, they don't evolve the game in a way that feels like you've only just begun playing it. After completing the second dream, I was half expecting to see a title screen that showed up to say, "Welcome to Warframe." Playing Warframe has been one of the most rewarding gaming experiences that I've ever had. And I'm going to put it right on the same shelf with Baldur's Gate 3, Helldivers 2, Terraria when I first played it, and a handful of other games that I can still count as some of my most favorite games, some of my most favorite and memorable experiences of all time. And I'm not saying that lightly. This game sits in a category all on its own, and I'm still only scratching the surface of it. I'm 150 hours in, and I've only scratched the surface of it. That's crazy. And this isn't like some normal MMO experience. That's the crazy thing, is that for the most part, when you first start playing, you already have access to the vast majority of things that you would have in any other MMO. But there's just so much more beyond that. It really actually does have me. I'm sorry for the Destiny 2 fans out there, but after playing this game, I'm like, why would you even play Destiny 2? You not played this game? You've not given it a shot? And if you haven't, do. And I know it's a tough ask to tell people, hey, man, you need to put 100 hours into this game before you really, get that major payoff that makes you go, okay, yep, all right, I'm in. But it's worth it. It's so worth it. I think that they still need to work on the new player experience. That first 100 hours of the game does need work. There needs to be something else that's there that's not right now, whether that's a little bit of extra direction or something else that really engages the player, that really hooks them in outside of the gameplay, because the game plays insanely well. I didn't take the time to talk about before just how well this game plays on PC, how insane the performance is, and how buttery smooth this game is. I mean, it's Digital Extremes, so Unreal Tournament kind of makes sense, but yeah. Anyway, I was planning on making a video where I was going to recap my 150-hour experience, but now that's going to be pushed back a little bit because I had to make a video just talking about this. And I realize that this is probably a little bit obtuse because, well, I can't really spoil it. I can't talk about it. I mean, I could, but that would be far less of an entertaining video for me. But yeah, if you enjoyed this and it intrigued you in the slightest, give Warframe a shot. We could use some more Tenno. Anyway, stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe, my friends. Follow me on Twitch, and I will see you guys in Warframe.
Family, 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 family.